It is the top of the ninth inning. Phillies looking to see if they can extend this 2-0 lead over the Mets. We are nearing the post-game show officially here. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. We'll have our very own John Foley joining us as well post-game to talk through this one. We saw the Phillies defeat the Mets last night as the Mets continue to Met. And then again today, they're on a 2-0 lead behind one. Another funky game. This series has been a weird one. It's a home and home, which we don't see often. And honestly, the first game and now through the first part of this one, it's been some odd plays, some fluky, weird things that's going on. But most importantly, the Phillies continue to win.
Castellanos with a little seeing eye single to right field, move Schwarber over to third. A little insurance run here, I think would have everybody feeling good. Yeah, the Mets are a very unserious franchise. And what I mean by that is, what's that? 2 runs scored thanks to hit by pitches.
Yep.
A couple walked in runners. Yeah, they're just the Mets, and they have to live with that, and that sucks. And there's just like a stink about that organization, and that sucks for them. But for us, it's great. And if you can take 2 in New York and come back home and kind of, maybe at worst do the coward split of 1-1. That's a good start to the week, and the Phillies have a chance here to be the first club in Major League Baseball to get to 30 wins.
Exactly. That's
for
exciting.
Only the second time ever in franchise history. So it's not a pennant we're hanging up in the outfield, but it's kind of cool.
Hey, we'll take the fact that it's another record the Phillies will be able to hang their hats on. And when you look at the start of the season, we've been continuously updating and sharing, records and stats and the history that they're making. Yet again, with a win tonight, it would cement them in some history going back over 100 years, which is phenomenal. In the chat, I know we've got Chris Lemmer, who's talking about Aaron Nola. Of course, Slemmer first in the chat, as always. But Chris, Evan, you guys are talking about Aaron Nola and how he should get the go in the bottom of the ninth with how he's pitching.
Yeah,
he only has thrown 88 pitches. He's got 59 strikes and 88 pitches. As we know, he was having a no-hitter through into the 6th inning. He's only given up 2 hits. So I think you let him continue to go, close this bad boy out. But as we get ready to close this bad boy out, Pat Murray saying, fuck the Mets. I feel like that's how he said it. Greg MC, the Mets 2024 payroll is over $350 million, which is astonishing. But Evan, Bob, hypothetical man, yes. Very interesting stat that you're talking about, Bob. There's been 323 no-hitters in Major League Baseball history, but Nola pitches only the 202nd 3-pitch inning in Major League Baseball history. Baseball is fun. Wild. Yes. I mean, this is the first 3-pitch inning for the Phillies since they said 2019 that we saw that back with, I believe it was Drew Anderson that they mentioned. It is interesting to think about how there haven't been nearly as many. I know we had talked about it before the broadcast, and after that moment happened, a bang, bang, bang type of an inning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any debating that throwing a no-hitter is – well, I don't even know if you can phrase it as harder, but common sense tells you it's harder to do, even though it's happened more frequently. Attaboy, Bryson.
Woo!
Keeping the
Bryson
hot streak going,
again.
Getting a little insurance run there. Love to see it. Does a little shimmy for the ladies. It is weird to say that a 3-pitch inning is probably, I don't know, it's more rare, but I wouldn't say it's more difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an infrequent type of thing that happens.
It definitely is.
Because you need a willing participant on the other side of it. You need 3 batters swinging it. So it's like you're removing some of the chance of it because of another person, another variable enters the mix.
Well, I think most of the time too, like I don't even want to say a major league hitter, as a hitter in general, if you watch the 2 guys sequentially in front of you go down on 2 pitches, there is almost like a mandatory take sign. Like you don't need to go through all this, right? take the damn pitch.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a 3-pitch inning, right? And
No.
you know, that's why it's so rare to see these guys, you know, 202 over the course of 140 seasons of baseball is off the charts.
There's got to be a book on you that you're throwing first pitch strikes,
right?
Fastball or something, and they're just throwing to jump you. But no, throwing a no-hitter is definitely hard, but that's a pretty wild stat.
It is wild, and we could also get another complete shutout for Phillies pitchers, Don Gregg is reminding us. So we saw Ranger do that earlier this season. Now we get a chance for Aaron if he does get the nod here. We'll have a chance of a complete game shutout. He does look really good. This is Aaron Nola. This is what we expect. And, you know, all the starting pitchers aside from Ranger have had some dips as the season's progressed. And as we are now into the middle of May, that whole long month and a half, which is natural. You're not going to be able to pitch perfectly every game. And it's great to see how the pitching staff continues to be, you know, lights out. And yet again, Aaron Nola today does that. Now, I know in the chat you guys are talking about Aiden Miller and Bryson Stott. Obviously, we have talked a lot about Aiden Miller here and even talked with Aiden Bauer Miller on the show. It does leave you, I know there's a mention of the future of what are they going to do with Aiden Miller. Well, who knows? Right now for Bryson Stott, though, most importantly, last couple games, he's got a home run yesterday. He's got 3 RBIs between yesterday and today. He's literally been putting the team on his back with injuries and all that. I love
Bomer down the right field line. Oh, was that fair or foul? That was foul.
Oh, that was so close to really Alec Bohm. Wow, that was close. Are you sure? I feel like that.
Did that ground rule double?
I feel like it was in.
Wait, that's a ground rule double.
All right.
That was it. All right.
Ground
that was
rule double for Alec Bohm. As I was talking about Bryson Stott stepping up, I love the fact that we're seeing Bohm Stott continue.
That replay.
That was about. It was right inside. I feel like you take a look at this again.
Bomer, a little right field line
perfect placement. Show the angle. There it is. You see where it hits the dirt. Wow.
Yeah, it's like 2 inches inside the line.
Wow.
Castellano scores. And the Phillies look like they're in pretty good shape here to get the W today.
Some more insurance runs for Aaron Nola.
A man on second and third, 1 out still. This is good stuff.
I love this. Another game where in the 9th, you know, late in the game, we're seeing the Phillies scoring runs. We saw yesterday.
Strong stash by that pitcher on the Mets.
Reed Foley.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong baseball stash.
But what I was trying to say before Alec Bohm made that great ground rule double.
You don't want to
No,
expound on that? Or?
I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's okay. It's a cool stash. You know?
I'm just kidding.
You know, none of us have a stash here. You know, sometimes I get one. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But it is a cool stash. It's definitely like it's giving I don't know, like a cop. It looks like a cop stash.
Yeah, he looks like a cop.
But I was going to say Bryson Stott, what I love about, I don't love the injuries, but I do love the fact that it's allowing someone like Stott to be able to put the team on his back.
We got a pickle. We got a pickle.
Go.
What? Oh my God. The Mets are going to Mets. The Mets are going to Mets.
No, he's got to go back. He's out.
Now he's screwed. Yeah,
dang it. Man. I think he could have.
Bohm
messed him up a little.
Yeah, Bohm could have seen that one out a little bit. You traded it out. You got a man on second.
Yeah, you still have Marsh on second, Bohm's on third, even though Stott got out.
I love a pickle.
I like pickles.
Like real pickles or baseball pickles?
All the pickles.
I'm a big
crunchy pickles, baseball pickles.
I've pickled stuff at home.
Breaded pickles.
Deep fried pickles.
Fried pickles.
Delightful.
Oh yeah, so good.
It felt like the Mets were gonna fuck that up before.
Well, they right here when they dropped the ball, it felt like he could have.
And that's where Bohm took off when he dropped it.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
These are good problems to have. I know as Brian Robbins is saying in the chat, like, let's not worry about Miller yet. He's 19. He's in single A. Let him develop with no pressure. Agreed. It is 4-0 right now that the Phillies are up. It was just 2-0. Let's just focus on that part. The fact that the Phillies are, even without Bryce Harper, who's out today with a migraine. We did see Kyle back. JT's still dealing with soreness in his knee. Injuries are going to happen. You have backup emergency catcher Cody Clemens. Doesn't even matter.
Well,
Phillies
that's going to do the half inning.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
This team is, to your point, it's pretty remarkable. Like, you're getting contributions from all over.
Aaron Nola's coming back, by the way.
88 pitches coming out for the bottom of the 9th in the complete game shutout. Let's get it, Aaron. But like whether it's Cody Clemens stepping up now in 2 different points throughout this season, Castellanos and Stott coming around right after JT or Trey gets hurt.
Yeah.
Schwarber and JT are out a couple games this weekend. Bryce is out today. And they're not really skipping a beat. Maybe it's Aaron Nola going, all right, I got to have, my best stuff today. The bullpen's been phenomenal. We'll get into last night, but Orion and Alvarado were huge. Stott with a huge home run. And then thank you, Edwin Diaz, you dumb bastard, for walking in the tying run. Appreciate that. So it's just it's the whole team. It's not one person. They're kind of passing that torch on who's carrying the offense at any given time.
Yeah, and you need a team of people that can, at any given moment, step up. And who can step up for you when you need a team to support you and protect you and your family by staying up to date on your immunizations? That's Rite Aid. I've always been a huge fan of Rite Aid for the fact that they allow you to be able to find anything that you need, whether it's snacks and drinks or medicine or, makeup for us that like to, be able to get some nice find some quick makeup. Rite Aid has a lot of different things for you. And they also have an opportunity for you to be able to connect with specially trained pharmacists that can help answer any questions you may have about vaccines and immunizations. Over at Rite Aid, most vaccines that you get through them are available easy. You can walk in, you can schedule an appointment. They've got vaccines for COVID-19, shingles, whooping cough, chickenpox, tetanus, pneumonia, lots of vaccines for you. And so you can head on over to your local Rite Aid to be able to stock up on whatever it is that you need, those last-minute gifts. Maybe you're excited because the Phillies are about to knock off the Mets and you want to go grab yourself a nice pint of ice cream or something to celebrate. Head on over to Rite Aid. There are select Rite Aid stores that have dedicated pharmacists ready to administer vaccines and answer all your questions. If you've got questions on immunizations that you need or you're not sure what's up to date, ask them. They can support you. And a Rite Aid pharmacist will take the time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history over at Rite Aid, guys.
And Rite Aid would tell you that this is potentially Aaron Nola's 6th career complete game, 3rd potential complete game shutout here upcoming in the bottom of the 9th. And sometimes when I'm watching a complete game shutout about to happen, I get a little nervous and I go, oh man, I could really use a beverage that could kind of calm my nerves a little bit here. And that's when I go into the fridge and grab myself a Miller Lite. When friends and family are around, or whether you're at the ballpark, taking in a game, an Aaron Nola start up in Queens in enemy territory, whatever it may be, it's just great to be around friends, family, and fellow baseball lovers with a cold Miller Lite in your hand. It's the original light beer since 1975. And think about how much has changed since 1975. They didn't even have internet back then. Idiots. Now we have Miller Lite, and it tastes the exact same way it did in 1975. And why? Because it's perfect. It tastes like a light beer should taste. No reason to mess around with it. They leave behind all the stuff you don't need and hold on to what matters most. And the best part, as we're approaching summer and it's slim down season, only 96 calories per 12 ounces, and you don't feel bloated when you drink them. They're refreshing. You're not gonna feel bloated at all. It's just a good tasting light beer because they keep it simple. The original light beer since 1975. And you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. You can get Miller Lite delivered directly to your door by going to MillerLite.com/PHLY or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Only 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than a regular premium beer.
All right, as we see Aaron Nola back on the mound, a chance to get a complete game shutout in under 100 pitches, as he's at 94 right now with 62 of them strikes. The rest are balls.
If he gets out under 100,
in the chat, Bob Wright sprinkling some insight.
What do you say, Bob?
Wright with the insight, mentioning that he can throw a Maddox, and that also the last Phillies complete game under 100 pitches was Ranger in 2021. No surprise, Ranger Suarez was the guy. Ranger. But yeah, he's got a chance to get himself a complete game under 100 pitches, which is phenomenal. And he can do it. It'd be nice to get a bang, 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 bottom of the 9th inning, seal the deal, wrap this bad boy up, put a bow on it.
There's one out.
And send the Phillies back home.
Take a seat. So what's that, 96 pitches? 95. 95 pitches, so he's got to get 2 outs and 5 pitches to get a Maddox. I don't like his odds there, but I do like his odds to get a complete game shutout.
Yeah. That, more importantly, it'd be the icing on the cake if it can be under 100.
They're warming up Hoffman just in case.
Okay, I like it, though. Not a bad idea. Yeah. You never know.
This isn't we don't believe in you. It's a But I would imagine Aaron gets, somewhere between 105 and 110 at least.
Well, especially with the insurance runs. If this is a 2-0 game, he's probably got a really short leash.
Yeah.
But now that you're up 4, he probably gets, I would assume, until the 3rd run is in the on-deck circle. So if run number 3 gets into the on-deck circle, then you maybe consider ramping up Hoffman or whomever you're going to use. But in this particular instance, you would need the tying run is not even in the hole. The tying run is 4th.
Ooh.
You've got some leeway here.
Foul.
Very foul. Yeah, and I think, to be honest, with it being 4-0, yes, it'd be great for him to throw a Suarez. I like Greg MC is saying that the Maddox is now the Suarez. It'd be nice for him to throw a Suarez today. But you also, if it does feel like he's unable to get out of the game quick, you can always go to Hoffman. So I think, but I have faith. I feel like Aaron Nola is going to. He's here. We are pitch number 99. So
here we go with the phone updates.
With the what?
The phone updates.
17
pitches
I just
ahead.
realized I'm a pitch ahead. I'm sorry.
I had Renee earlier. I was watching the StatCast.
Oh, he got
and the
me
Mets
so
threw
good.
a wild pitch.
So good.
And I go, I think there's going to be a wild. Oh, come on there.
Marsh.
I go, I think this is ripe for a wild pitch. And sure enough, a wild pitch comes 10 seconds later. And she just looks back at me. And I was like, I was watching StatCast.
I was convinced that he was, I'm not going to lie, I was really impressed.
Yeah.
And I thought that, I'm like.
I should have let me have that one.
You definitely should have dragged that one out because in that moment I thought you were really You also jinxed or semi-called the no-hitter.
I'm with Tyler on this one.
I'm not going to say you jinxed it, but I feel like you led to the hit giving up.
I turned around to our social media guy in the office and I said exact words, hey, just to put something on your radar here, Aaron Nola is perfect through 5 innings.
I just want to let you guys know.
Which is a fact.
Which is a fact. We have a job to do.
From our exact location, Citi Field is 113.7 miles away.
The mojo's real.
There's no chance on this planet.
Not that. Yeah, let's just now get the complete game. It's okay. The no-hitter was soiled. The under 100 pitches was soiled, but a complete game shutout would be just fine. These are the problems that we have now, guys. This is where we are as a Phillies fan base and about talking about the team of like, oh, man, he didn't get the no-hitter. He was doing great. Hitless through 5. Oh, man, he's just tinkering over 100 pitches as he's now a couple over. This is where we are.
He's at 102 right now. Yeah, I mean, us in the quote-unquote media have a job to do occasionally, and some of that is getting Photoshops done.
Jamie is not the social media guy, by the way.
I am not, no. I did not turn around and say that to myself. I said that to our guy,
funny.
Chris. But yes, I don't believe in that. I think the announcers should.
Well, you have to. It's a fact.
Yeah, you're telling the story of the game.
If he hasn't given up a hit through 5 games, that's something you have to mention. You can't ignore it. Does it happen to be a coincidence that the moment you say something like that, they give up a hit after? Yeah, sure.
There we go. Here's the second out.
All right.
At this point, I think you got to let him see it out.
Yeah, you do. You do.
What's he at? 104?
Again, and it's a 4-0 game. It's not like this
2
is
outs, 104.
a tying run on base or anything. Like, this should be over. Got faith in Nola.
So Rich Hoffman in our daily newsletter here from PHLY, which you should definitely sign up for. If you haven't already, it's a really good catch you up to date and speed email. But he said, are the Mets one of our least favorite teams ever as a Philadelphia sports fan? And he was taking email submissions. So I sent him an email and I said, hey, Rich, first time, long time. Just wanted to weigh in on your most hated team thing. For me, it's the Braves. But the team I enjoy laughing at the most is the Mets.
Yeah.
Because I never really consider the Mets like a serious franchise that could actually hurt me. Whereas the Braves kind of ruined my childhood. Now they're really good again. They just never seem to go away. They're a very well-run organization. The Mets are the opposite of that. So, I enjoy their misery more, but I hate the Braves more.
Remember, too, when we talked about this a couple days ago, the last time the Phillies and the Mets were good simultaneously was 2007, right? They had they were battling back and forth for the division because the Phillies ascended.
And then Jimmy said, it's our division.
The Phillies ascended. The Mets kind of declined. The Phillies went through a rebuild. The Mets got good, went to the World Series, had that really good pitching staff, had, compiled a really good team. The Mets spent a boatload of money. The Phillies spent money to be competitive, and they've gone in opposite directions since then. So, I mean, I don't think the Phillies and the Mets are like. I think there can be a difference between like rivals and who you hate the most, because right now the Phillies and the Phillies' biggest rival is the Braves.
Yeah, and that was my point to Rich.
It changes all the time.
I love the Mets' misery, but I hate the Braves. Nola's complete game shutout still alive as Marsh keeps. Rob's going to get him.
No.
Wait, what's he doing? He's signaling to him. Maybe he's not. Oh, he's giving some signs. All right, no, he's not getting Nola.
Okay.
It looked like he was walking out of the dugout.
I think he's saying like, get out of this.
Yeah, this is your last batter, bud. You want a complete game shutout? Fucking end it.
I was gonna say, I also just feel like it depends on what generation you're talking to. If you're talking about like the Darryl Strawberry Mets days, I being so young, didn't really have to experience that from an age of like the Mets being a true threat and being a true rival.
That's the thing, though.
Sense.
Like, even when they're serious, they're not serious.
Right.
You just know that they're gonna Mets it. And there's the pop up and a complete game shutout for Aaron Nola. His third of his career complete game shutout.
I didn't look at my phone.
We're very proud of you, Renee.
I know.
His sixth career complete game, his third career complete game shutout. So congratulations, Aaron Nola. Hell of a game.
Wow. Impressive. The Phillies walk away from Citi Field with 2 wins with a nice 4-0 victory today. Aaron Nola, as you mentioned, with the complete game shutout, we'll take that. No hitter would have sounded great. Complete game shutout under 100 pitches would have sounded great. But a win and a complete game shutout is amazing. And with that, the Phillies become the first team across the league to get 30 wins on the season. They tied the second fastest franchise history record to reach 30 wins. In 1993, they were mentioning this earlier. In 1993 and in 1913, it took them 43 games to get to a 30-13 record. And so today marks the tying of that. So the second time ever that we've seen that happen for them. And the highest, of course, was in 1976 when the Phillies won 30 games in 41 games to start off the season. The other thing about the Phillies is you get a shutout after a game yesterday that was a weird game. In both games, you were 1 for 17. I guess now it's 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position in the last 2 games, if I updated my numbers correctly. They left runners stranded. They got the win. It wasn't pretty. I know we were talking about it earlier before we did the show as we were watching the game. And to look at the Phillies be able to be up 2-0 at one point in the third inning where you get runs scored off of Alec Bohm getting hit by a pitch yet again and off of, getting walks, drawing walks. The Phillies are finding ways to grind out innings, grind out runs, and definitely grind out wins. So with that, welcome officially into our PHLY Phillies victory post-game show. The first team to 30 wins in Major League Baseball. Our very own Philadelphia Phillies. Can we get some cheers in the chat? Can we get a hell yeah? Woo! Cue the audience, Tyler. Cue the live audience. Woo! Don't we have a thing?
Oh, yeah. Don't you have that on your fancy board?
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to hear it.
That's okay. That's for the people. We're doing it for the people. You have to tell us what it sounds like, though. Which one
describe it to us.
It's just clapping and cheering and a couple whistles.
Only the second time in franchise history. The Phillies have sucked for most of their history, so let's enjoy the good times when we get them.
Keep the good times rolling. Yes, for the Phillies to get a win, to be at 30 wins, first on the season. It's a conversation we've been having a lot about how good this team is, even with injuries. Yeah, get a hell yeah in the chat. Don, Greg, Spiral, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's get a little thumbs up, too.
I know today was Doc's birthday. I know Sarah Langs had a nice tweet just kind of reminding of the history of how successful the Phillies have been on Doc's birthdays over the years. And today's another chance. You get a win. You advance to 30 wins on the season. And it's not always pretty. You have injuries. You have back-to-back games of Bohm getting hit by a pitch. You have all these little things. And yet the Phillies continue to win. Now, before we bring on, I know our own John Foley is going to be joining us.
Who's your player of the game, Renee?
Oh, How do I just pick
It's a
one?
very difficult
Garrett
one.
Stubbs.
Garrett Stubbs.
Oh, that's a tricky one. You know, if I had to say a player of the week so far, it's Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go Aaron Nola.
No,
He
it's
just pitched
obviously Aaron Nola. It
a
was
complete game shutout.
Rhetorical kind of question.
Oh, okay. But I was entertaining Bryson Stott.
Okay. Yeah, Aaron Nola, 9 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, 8 Ks, 109 pitches total. This rotation is...
Man.
I feel weird saying it's 2011-ish because or 2010-ish, 2000, whatever you want to, but it does feel like they're that quality. It's really remarkable.
Yeah. I would also say your player of the game, Junior, has to be Bryson Stott for yet again helping to kickstart the scoring. We saw it last night, and of course, we'll have a chance to talk about last night's game since we haven't had a chance to talk about it with you guys yet. But to have that third inning where we saw Bryson Stott, he drew the second walk of the inning in the third, and then after that, it just kind of rolled. It was a walk after a walk. They finished out that inning with just 1 hit, but they also had 2 runs scored, 3 walks, and of course, Alec Boehm got hit by a pitch as the for the second game in a row. Stop hitting Alec
twice.
Please.
Addicted
but
to hitting
with the bases
Boehm.
loaded,
Idiots.
The Phillies drew walks. The Phillies got, Alec Boehm gets hit, and it starts again with Bryson Stott. He has been the catalyst to this offense the last 2 days, and even without JT, Bryce, Trey, Kyle for most of yesterday up until late when he was came in as a pinch hitter, it's been Bryson Stott. So let's also bring in one of our guys, John Foley, who's joining us to recap all the excitement. John, another win for the Phillies. They become the first team across the league to 30 wins on the season. I don't know if we would have predicted this at the start of the year. We definitely predicted and wanted a hot start for the Phillies. But let's take this moment to just reflect, guys. This is the hot start. First team in the league, again, to 30 wins. I don't know how much of a better start you can get, well, of course, to be undefeated, than to be the best team in the league as of this mark of mid-May.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, we're used to starts 4-10, 11-16. Could they get out of the gates a little hotter this year? And man, they sure have. I mean, one team in the history of the Phillies franchise, dating back to 1883 or whatever, with a better start than this. Nobody else in baseball this year has 30 wins like the Phillies do. And they just keep getting it done. And I put it in the article the game recap yesterday. They can beat you with pitching, like Aaron Nola and his shutout today. They can beat you with hitting when folks get healthy. They can, bang out 10 runs. And then there's some games like yesterday's game where nothing seems to go right, and they just win anyway, because they're just, it feels like that winning is contagious. And they just, I can't remember the last time I've woken up every morning just expecting the Philadelphia Phillies to win a baseball game. It's incredible.
Yeah, John, my daughter Skylar, I usually now watch a couple innings with her before putting her down to bed, and I'm letting her stay up kind of later and later and being a real bad dad. But I love it because she comes in the morning, and even if they're down, she goes, "Did the Phillies win?" And more often than not, I think they're 9-1 in 1-run games after last night. Like last night was a morning today where I was expecting to go, no, Phillies lost a tough one. What can you do? But instead, just like these weird things happen, like Alec Boehm getting hit with the bases loaded. What's been like the most impressive to you? Is it the rotation, the bullpen, or the offense? Because I guess rotation is the obvious one, but I really think this bullpen is something special too.
I think you got to go Jason Kelce. Is the whole team. Is everybody. It's the rotation has been lights out. The bullpen, except for a couple of bad innings here and there that have really threw their numbers out of whack. Most times the bullpen comes in, they're having tremendous success. And the lineup, I mean, they're a little banged up right now. No Harper, no Real Muto, and they still find ways to scratch across runs. And if it takes Alec Boehm getting hit for the second straight day with the bases loaded, which is pretty amazing.
Odds of that.
It's incredible.
It's incredible, and it's on brand for how this season has been. It's been so far where a lot of little things are going right for the Phillies. And let's be honest, it starts by setting yourself up to have the bases loaded in general, to be able to draw walks. We've talked so much about the Phillies needing the ability to play small ball. We've seen bunting. We've talked about them being able to attack pitchers and force them deep in the pitch count. They're doing that. They're getting after them. Jose Buto pulled, unable to go. Unable to
Am
go.
I right?
But there it is.
Ass. That's right. I'm a serious person.
I'm a serious person. But the Phillies are continuing to do the little things right. And even with injuries, Bryson Stott, 3 RBIs and a home run between yesterday and today. Fantastic at bats. It's incredible to see how this team is grinding things out. So I love the fact that as we even talk, like, what stands out? What do we enjoy the most? I just enjoy the fact that it's not always pretty, but they're playing like a team, and they're playing. Cody Clemens, whoever it is stepping up to the plate and delivering when needed and when called upon.
Yeah, any sort of magical season like this that you can remember, that's always the recipe, right? Different guys stepping up on different nights, players picking each other up. Certain guys. One problem we've had in the past few years is that everybody would seem to get cold or hot at the same time. This seems to be different. To the extent anyone is slumping, like Castellanos early. Well, then Alec Boehm's playing like an MVP candidate. And if that's not sustainable, he comes a little bit back down to earth. Now you've got Bryson Stott lighting the world on fire. The pitching has been great throughout. I know you all mentioned the 2011 team. It is still kind of weird to think about this year's group in those terms, because as of 2011, the starters in that rotation were already legends that were just sort of collected and just assembled like the Avengers. But this is a little bit more, they're surpassing those numbers through a not insignificant part of the season thus far. So sooner or later, that conversation is going to get started. I know it's like blasphemous in certain ways to compare any rotation to 2011, but as these numbers pile up, I think it might be time to start that conversation.
No, it's going to feel less weird pretty soon. Now, the other weird thing about today, John, is how many teams do you think around Major League Baseball could play all 4 infielders out of position and win handedly? Because nobody played their natural position today once Bryce left. I don't know why they did what they did. I'm sure Rob will have an answer for it. But that is kind of the mark of a great team.
Yeah, and they didn't just stumble into it. It's something they valued in the offseason. And as they've constructed this roster, they just value that versatility. Guys like Sosa, guys like Whit Merrifield, Bohm can play third or first.
Can play catcher and second? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cody Clemens is the emergency catcher. They did this intentionally. They know it's a long season. They know it's a grind, and it's one thing to have depth at specific positions, but you only have so many bench spots. So to find these players that can play sort of all over the place, it really adds a lot of value to your team when you have a day like today when a couple guys are banged up and around the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things. I mean, this offseason, I remember like it was yesterday, us talking about, and it was even mentioned in the chat, re-signing Aaron Nola, get that done, check. And now we see him throwing complete game shutouts, talking about adding utility pieces and some depth and some guys around the edges. You bring in a Whit Merrifield, you get Cody Clemens, who's got another year under his belt and is playing really well. Check. Johan Rojas, the concern about him as an everyday center fielder, and even the discussion around Christian Pache. Check. You're getting home runs. You're getting good at bats. All the things that we've had concerns about, knock on wood, the Phillies have been completely showing. Even versatility. I remember that being an area we discussed down the stretch, especially in the NLCS. The Phillies struggled, but they didn't have any answer, any way to tweak things to, accommodate, whether it's because of injuries or bad at bats or the bats going cold. Check, check, check. We've been seeing that as well. So this group right now, and it's only mid-May, I think it's not flashy, which is why it probably feels surprising. But when you really take a step back, they're doing so many things so quickly that it's coming together and to be a really great group. But overall, just love the fact that you see Cody Clemens and these young guys, even with injuries, the confidence that's coming from this. You think about these last 2 games for Bryson Stott, Cody Clemens, Yoro. The confidence that this is building for them is going to help in major ways as this season progresses.
Absolutely. It's a great point, Renee. Like everything we talked about all season long, like how many shows was there discussion about will Rojas be able to hit? Yep, sure can. Will the bullpen be able to handle? Are there enough arms in the bullpen? Can you replace those? Before he fell off, those 60-some quality innings, high leverage situations that Kimbrel gave last year's team. Yep, check. Ryan Kirkering's been incredible. It's just it's a rare thing for things to just sort of work out in basically every aspect of the roster the way they've worked out this season, and that's how you get to be the first team to 30 wins in baseball, and one of the best in history.
Yeah, and you know how you become one of the best financial credit unions in the area? That's you join the team over at TrueMark, and you don't think about it. Because when you join TrueMark Financial Credit Union, you feel like a part owner, because that's exactly what happens when you join a credit union. It means that profits are going to come back to you instead of going to this faceless, nameless shareholders like other big banks. You'll get better rates, lower fees, and a better return on savings, and more flexible options with all the same technology that you're used to that makes your lives easier. And I don't know about you guys, but I always love supporting the hometown company, not only because they're invested in the area, but they employ your neighbors and friends and family. And it's good to give back. And that's what TrueMark is. They're based right here in Fort Washington, like 5 minutes down the road from myself. And they have over 24 branches in the area. And becoming a member of a credit union has so many benefits over being a customer at a bank. It's a total no-brainer. So check it out yourself. I know our own JP has joined recently. Head over to truemark.com/PHLY to learn more, to find a branch near you. That's truemark.com/PHLY. Federally insured by the NCUA.
All right. One of the greatest things about the Phillies that's helping them be successful is they've got a strong core right down the middle. And you can have a strong core right down the middle.
I thought it was pretty good. Flabby. Not a strong core.
the talking belly, tummy. You could have a nice, strong, healthy core and digestive system. That's with Olipop, the world's first functional soda with the classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support your gut health. Having a strong core, having a strong stomach and digestive health is very important, guys. And with Olipop, they provide you with a chance to make sure you're getting all the fiber that you need. 9 grams of fiber per can and just 2 to 5 grams of sugar per can. They also want to make sure you're aware that they're helping to combat the fact that 2 out of 3 Americans are not getting the amount of fiber that they need and are dealing with digestive health issues. 95% not getting the correct fiber, I should say. And with Olipop, you also get delicious flavors, because eating and drinking healthy should not mean that you have to drink flavorless drinks. Nope. Over at Olipop, they've got some classic tastes like the classic root beer, strawberry vanilla, 2 of their most populars, classic grape, ginger ale, lemon lime. So many options for you. It's great straight as a nice refreshing soda. It's great as a mixer. It's great with ice cream. It's great with anything. And there's always flavors that are for you. And there's always places to buy them that are convenient for you. So you can use the code PHLY20 to get 20% off your next Olipop order. That discount does only apply to one-time orders, not subscription orders. And Olipop is sold online on Amazon, on drinkolipop.com, and available in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide on the shelves of Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, GoPuff. So check out Olipop today. And again, that code PHLY20 gets you 20% off when you shop at Olipop. So in the chat.
And they're presenting our tailgate on Saturday.
They are. And on Saturday, great point, Jamie. On this Saturday, May 18th, which is wild that we're already at May 18th, by the way, we're going to be having our very own PHLY Phillies tailgates down at the Jetro lot. We're going to have Olipop there. We're going to have our sponsors actually there on site giving out some Olipop for you guys. We're going to have Cavs Catering with a delicious spread. So you can check out those details on allphly.com. I believe it's /events, where you can find out the exact details, get registered, and get out to hang with us. get the game tickets, and have some fun this upcoming Saturday so we can keep watching the Phillies win in person. And now, as we talk about winning, I do want to make a comment as we're taking this moment, I feel like, to also reflect on our preseason conversations, because as you guys are saying in the chat, Jackie Moon, K-Red, Ray, Spiral Out, Hypothetical Man, Greg, a win is a win.
Everyone loves everyone.
Everybody's happy. Everybody's in love because we're all happy and we're winning. The Phillies are on pace for 113 wins. I was not on the show the day that you guys predicted how many wins you thought the Phillies were going to get this season. But I remember a certain guy. No, I wasn't.
John said 100 wins.
A certain guy, and John, I'm looking at you.
Wow, she's throwing bouquets
This is your moment
way.
because not only did you predict a sweep against the Giants, but you also, bigger picture, more importantly, predicted the Phillies to win 5 games?
I would like to say I said 105. I think I went with 100 as a bold prediction.
You did.
And what that was based on was the fact that they had already played like a 100-win team from the time Harper got healthy throughout. I think I've seen a couple folks on Twitter throwing up stats that if you look over the most recent 162 game span, they won like 102, 103, something along those lines. So, you see those Vegas over-unders, and I'm sure they're climbing now, but early on it was like 88, and that just did not seem right. So I don't think they're going to. It would be, incredible if they could stay on this pace and win like 110 plus. I don't know if we're going to see that happen. Every team, even the best teams, this 1976 team, that's still ahead in victories through this many games, or the 93 team that they're tied with right now. They're rough patches in all those seasons, and there's going to be points where we sort of freak out. We haven't even had to deal with a 3-game losing streak yet. We've dealt with, I think, two game losing streaks. So at some point they're going to lose 3, maybe more in a row, and we're all going to panic. And we just have to remember that it's a long season, and over 162 they're really going to be. They're going to be okay, and I think that 100 win mark is very much in play. There's nothing about what the Phillies are doing right now that's unsustainable. I don't see. They've caught some luck, some breaks, yeah, sure, but there's no reason why they can't keep winning.
So the only thing to that point, John, that can prevent it, I think, is injuries.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're cool or if you're like me and panicked a little bit. If you're MLB. Angle showed this, but NBC Sports Philly had it locally. JT Realmuto warming up prior to the game, out there getting down in the catcher's stance, and he was shifting his legs, and like a pretty big wince came out of him. He said this is a knee thing that's popped up in the past. It's been around them for several years. He said usually 2 to 3 days rest kind of gets it normal again. But when I saw him wince just getting down in the catcher's stance, I did kind of go, shit, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, that once was a little scary.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes out of it. What's interesting is that yesterday, Rod Thompson said that they weren't even doing a formal examination of the knee. Like, it was just kind of banged up, and they were going to give him some rest. And they had dealt with it before, so I don't know if that's going to change, and if they're going to take a look at maybe what's going on there. But yeah, that would be a huge blow to the lineup. I mean, for all the versatility they do have, Garrett Stubbs is really the only one that can play catcher. And yeah, I mean, everybody loves Garrett Stubbs, but I also think nobody wants to see him out there every day. So that's something to watch. Yeah, injuries are always the wild card, right? Thankfully, Schwarber seems to be okay after a little bit of a back issue he's dealing with. Trey Turner obviously is already down, but that'll be a great boost when he comes back. I think we still got at least five-ish weeks until he returns. But it's just they've got that next guy up mentality, and they've got enough stars on this team that you can lose somebody like Turner and maybe even Realmuto for a little bit and still have plenty of bats in there that scare opposing pitchers.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we see Garrett Stubbs gets the 3rd start today in a row ever. That's the first time ever in his career that we've really seen that happen. And it's concerning because that is the one position that there is no depth. And I know we've talked about it in the chat. It's being mentioned by Jim G of needing a much better backup catcher. Garrett Stubbs is the vibes guy. He's great for team chemistry. He's great if you need him here and there. But we saw him get his first start with Zach Wheeler on Sunday. We saw him get his first start with Aaron Nola today. And it's concerning because knee injuries, on top of the fact that JT is aging. You now have a 33-year-old JT who has played 130-plus games the last few seasons. Aside from 2020, which obviously everybody played lower, he's played on average around 130 to 140 games. He's logged a lot of minutes, and he's a great catcher, and he's such a big piece of this team. So that is a little bit concerning, especially because you just don't have another option. Every other position, there are options there except for JT. There's no replacing what JT brings to this team as of now. So lots to be happy about, but that part is a little bit like, okay, this is concerning. This is a little bit nerve-wracking. So, John, obviously you'll get a chance to be up here, though, the next couple of days now the Phillies will return home for the second part of this home-and-home series, and you'll get to get all the updates live and in person for us, which will be exciting to have you there at the ballpark and to get to learn more about what's going on. So excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. Can't wait to get back to the ballpark, get back to the studio, and hopefully the Phillies just keep it rolling and stay healthy. Fingers crossed on JT. But no matter what, I think they're gonna keep this thing together.
Yeah. And Baseball Reference just followed our show account, which is kind of cool. And they just tweeted us back, actually, about Aaron Nola's stats.
Oh.
So Baseball Reference just told us here at @AllPHLY_Phillies on Twitter that Aaron Nola, with his third career shutout, is now tied for the most among all pitchers since 2021. Just below him is Ranger Suarez with 2, but Aaron Nola now ties Framber Valdez, Garrett Cole, and Max Fried for the most complete game shutouts in baseball since 2021. John, that's pretty good company to be in, I believe.
That's pretty good company to be in. And it also shows you what a different game it is today compared to those. That's another thing. If we want to start making 2011 comparisons, we got to remember that, Roy Halladay was out there going, 8, 9 innings all the time. But it's incredible. Nola is he's what in today's game is considered a horse. To see Ranger right behind him is awesome. But I do think there's a strange, maybe Baseball Reference can help us out on this too. I think there's a strange stat that if you go back, like since 2000, Roy Halladay still leads the league in complete game shutouts, just because nobody's ever going to catch him the way the game's set up now. But really impressive by Nola today. You love to see it, especially Zach Wheeler doesn't have his best game. Aaron Nola comes out and pitches like the ace of the rotation, or that could be Suarez tomorrow, or Harper's migraine issues are resolved and he could hit 3 home runs. There's just so many different ways that they can beat you, and that's what was missing these past few years with Phillies baseball. That they had to be hot, they had to be hitting home runs, and they would all go cold at the same time. The defense was subpar. The pitching wasn't as deep as it is right now. All of those things, all of the concerns we had about the 2022, 2023 teams that had to squeak into the playoffs, you don't have them right now about this 2024 group.
Yeah, they're going to kick in the door. And by the way, Matt Gelb just tweeted that Bryce and JT are both going to play tomorrow. So luckily, some good news there on JT. Hopefully it was just like an old man wince and not a I wince when I put my socks on anymore. So
yeah.
Hopefully it was just that, and not something serious with the knee. But good.
That's fantastic news. That's fantastic news from my friend Matt Gelb.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got nervous, especially hearing a headache, a migraine after we saw, but also after we saw Bryce get hit yesterday early in the game.
Not related to
I know, but like naturally, especially as a soccer player, like my first thought goes to, oh no, is this a concussion? Is it something more? Because sometimes those symptoms will show up later. So great to hear that Bryce Harper would have been available today if needed and should be available tomorrow. I know also in the chat it was asked about Rafael Marchand. He is also on the IL-10 currently for the Phillies. So, there's the catcher role there's there's some issues there. That is an area that the Phillies are thin.
It's the reason why they draft like 6 every year now, because it's a really hard position.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bryce came up as a catcher. Cody Clemens played some catcher. You know, it's a weird position.
Kyle Schwarber was a catcher at one point.
Who?
Kyle Schwarber was a catcher
Schwarber
at one
came
point.
up as a catcher, yeah. So it's just a weird thing.
I remember in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft, it was just catcher after catcher after catcher.
Oh, God, that's all they're taking.
The Phillies were loading up on. So, yeah, we might have to start taking trips back down on the farm and take a look at how some of these guys are playing.
So it sounds like it seems that way. But John, we appreciate you so much as always, carving out time to jump on and talk with us. I know you've got a nice few fun days ahead of you that you'll be able to, again, be down at the ballpark. As we wrap up here, my last question for you, I just want to get your last thoughts, since we haven't had a chance to get your perspective on between yesterday's game and today's game and actually even the weekend. You know, bigger picture, if there's anything else, key takeaways, especially since you've been around the team so closely, so much, going all the way back to whether it was winter meetings, spring training, and obviously as the season progressed, anything else that you've noticed that you're really excited about or even nervous about with the Phillies at this point at their 30-win point of the season?
Overall, 30 wins. I mean, the only things you can be nervous about are irrational, or just can't be controlled. You worry about injuries. You worry about people are playing so well. So are they using up all their magic now, and not going to make that late October push? I don't think those are legitimate concerns. I mean, I think it's going to be a really fun summer. I think there's no reason that the success is unsustainable. And I think you've got a team full of professionals who've come really, really, really close, as fans all know, to that ultimate prize. And I think they're on a mission to get it. And I think they're going to be neck and neck with the Braves all season.
Yeah. It's definitely exciting times. I know I absolutely can admit I have moments, and even yesterday the show had my moments of like pessimism, because as a sports fan, we're so used to waiting for the other shoe to fall off. But as of now, the Phillies, every time we have a concern, they just show us that everything is fine. This is fine, and they're going to be fine. Yeah. So thank you, John, so much for taking time to jump on with us. And always, as you guys can check out John's great work that you're putting out, whether it's your articles or even the content that you're sharing on Twitter, just continue to drop some great information, insight, stories, updates for people. So as always, fantastic work, John.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you. And see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, John.
All right. So after, some frustrations coming from the lone loss of the weekend, the last 2 days, the Phillies yet again, continue to reassure us that the Phillies are okay. This group is great. The depth is there. The talent is there. And you also actually, when you look across the roster, I feel like you also have a great combination of guys that are bought in and they get it. They're at a great point in their career. They want to win. They understand what it takes to win. And you don't have to deal with any of the, minor, sometimes whether it's mentality or buy-in or whatever, teams may deal with. It's like a great combination of veterans, youth, guys in their prime, and guys that, again, are just driven to want to go ahead and, win the division and go far in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's kind of the perfect storm of a team here. Highly likable, very good, clutch. Last night's win made them 9-1 in 1-run games. Just kind of everything's going right. 1 month ago, Renee, they were 8-8, and now they're, number 1 or number 2 in whatever power rankings you're reading. They're winning games they probably shouldn't have won last night. They're just doing all the right things that tell you your baseline is a World Series contender. And it's going to be a really fun year. We have a lot of baseball ahead of us. But the luxury now that we're experiencing that we haven't had in the past is a really hot start sets you up for less pressure-filled August and September baseball. And it allows you to have some injuries and be able to absorb maybe the not so successful weeks that are going to come. So getting out to this hot start is an incredible way to set yourself up for future success.
Absolutely. And I know there is always that mindset of like, should you quote unquote save things? You don't save things in sports. There's no way you're going to save anything.
So I played golf yesterday or on Mother's Day by myself, alone.
Right?
I was piping the ball. I had like my best 9-hole score ever, but I was alone.
Of course you did. You were by yourself.
But I went, why can't I save this when I'm with my buddies, when I'm gambling on like, I need to save this, but you can't. It's a dumb way to think. And I always do that when, if they go out and win 20-1 tomorrow, I go save some runs for tomorrow. But again, stupid way to think. You can't do that.
It is. And it's something that's
it's natural.
Right.
Well,
that's what I remember people used to always say, like, save yourself, save your energy, save the hits. You don't save anything. You got to keep it rolling. I know it was mentioned about the runners in scoring position as an area because the Phillies were 3 for 16 yesterday, 1 for 3 today with runners in scoring position. So I had to update my numbers because that's 4 for 19 on the last 2 games. I had 2 for 17, which was wrong. Math, guys, math. But there are some minor things, but overall, they're not saving anything. They're rolling out whatever the day is. It's a different lineup. Again, you look at today, as we talked about, that configuration of the infield. Completely
all 4 out of position.
Completely different than anything we've ever seen with where Cody Bohm stopped, where everybody's lined up. But yet they keep rolling. Yesterday you have a weird game, you have a lot of odd plays, and yet it takes an extra inning and they keep rolling. So the Phillies to have had another chance to make some history, as we talked about, the first time since 1976 that the Phillies are the first team in Major League Baseball to win 30 games. That's the only other time that has happened during the live ball era. I know Sarah Lang's put that nugget out. All the information around them, setting records, even coming into yesterday, when they started coming into yesterday's game, I know the graphic flash on the screen of the fact that the Phillies starting pitching core has a 2.7 ERA, and the next closest was the Braves coming into yesterday with a 3.50 ERA. I mean, for the everything that we're seeing, this club is assembled very nicely. The amount of stolen bases they had, 49 through 41 games at one point that we saw.
Schwarber can't be getting picked off today. Minor gripe.
But that's the thing. It's minor. It's very minor. We're grasping at straws here for the things that are annoying.
And last night, sending Castellanos. Like, I know the Phillies are an automatic steal in that situation. But like,
I know.
Minor gripe.
Okay, so the other thing is when you think about it.
I love their aggressiveness in that situation. The stop and steal third and 1 out or less. But sending, it's fine. I'm not even gonna bring it up.
Don't do it. Don't do it yourself.
No, things are too good.
So the last 2 games.
But come on, Schwarber, you can't be getting picked off, man. I'm sorry, that bothers me. You're not a threat to steal, really. So, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while he'll steal.
Yeah. Are you done with that?
I think. Yeah, that's it. It was just minor. I just had to get it out. It was verbal diarrhea. I had to get it out.
Okay. Right. So we did see for Aaron Nola today his first 11 swing and misses. They came on his curveball, and then we saw a sinker that was his 12th against Brennan Nimmo in the 9th inning. Of course, we already talked about his complete game shutout. Pitching wise, he's the hero for the day. He's the only guy we get to see today. Bryson Stott is offensively the hero, but I love, like, you had this past weekend. We were talking about Nick Castellanos against the Marlins having a breakout. Every series, every day, every series, it's somebody different. And that's what also, I know we keep saying it and reiterating it, but that's what also is so fun to see of, like, who's next? Tomorrow, as they return back home, back to Citizens Bank Park to face the Mets yet again, who's next? Who's going to be the guy that they're going to rely on tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow is TBD on the Phillies probable starters list for the Mets. Ranger Suarez, our dear Ranger. Come on, is there any doubt that guy's going to go out there tomorrow and get his 8th win? Coming back home, and, like, part of going on the road and seeing, like, this shit experience of bad fans and empty stadiums all over. Oh, my gosh,
so empty today.
Like, as soon as you step back into Citizens, there was a lot of Phillies fans both nights up there, which is really good to see. But as soon as you step back into Citizens Bank Park, it's got to be, like, 5 shots of adrenaline. That atmosphere for late May. And, again, we're going to be down there on Saturday night. The 18th with our friends Ollie Pop and Philly Sports Strips and Cavs Catering. So please get in touch with us if you're able to say hello or maybe even come to the tailgate or the game, whatever it may be. But, like, that stadium is electric. And now you have the best pitcher. Shota Imanaga is really kind of getting in the way of Rangers Award right now. And that's kind of annoying of him. So hopefully he regresses. How dare he be slightly maybe better, maybe not. But Rangers coming home into a packed park versus a team that the fans hate. Like, those guys are going to be jacked up again tomorrow night, and it's got to be really cool for them to return home after playing in empty stadiums all over the place.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, you saw it this weekend. You could hear the Phillies fans loud and clear against the Marlins at Lone Depot Park. You could see it again today and yesterday, all the Phillies fans that are in attendance. It's why these are the little things that we take for granted, guys. Citizens Bank Park is always rocking. It's always loud. It's always exciting. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 o'clock start.
Did you see the video?
A 7 o'clock start.
Was it Bryce at was it the Grand Slam he had recently? Where the camera angle was on the field. It was from the visiting team's dugout, and it showed Bryce's home run, and it showed the reaction from the field.
Oh, so good.
It looked like a playoff game, and it was early
last
May.
Tuesday night against the Blue Jays.
Like, it was wild, and I went, Citizens Bank Park really is the talk of baseball.
It is.
Still, everybody kind of wants to play here. And basically, the long story short, the fans are responsible for getting so many key free agents.
Basically, I mean,
we're baseball heaven.
You don't have to worry about sleeping fans at Citizens Bank Park. That's for sure.
That guy was hammered.
There have been so many times that they show. It's usually away games, and it's not just the babies. I understand the toddlers getting sleepy. Adults, what is your excuse that you're out there yawning and slouched over? And we saw a dad and daughter sleep. We saw a guy sleep. Like, we've seen a lot of sleeping people, and you don't get that at Citizens Bank Park. But again, listen, the Phillies aren't always getting home runs. It's not always flash. It's not always pretty. But you see today they had 7 hits, 8 walks for the Phillies. 8. And a few of those led to, of course, the 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Of course, Bohm hit by a pitch. 7 Ks and 4 RBIs, and there are 33 at-bats. It's quality over quantity. They're getting it done. And then, of course, on the other side, it just give up 4 hits total and 8 Ks, no walks. Obviously, no runs or RBIs. No walks, 8 Ks, 4 hits for Aaron Nola on the day. Phenomenal to see, and phenomenal to continue to see the progress. Guys like, Yoro. I know Whit Merrifield, not everybody's fully sold yet on Whit, but I feel like Whit's, even yesterday, obviously, big reason why they win that game. Whit is picking and choosing in his spots where he's able to shine and help. Nick Castellanos has been better. So it's great to see that
And real quick,
I would say that bottom of the pack crew.
That was like those insurance runs today. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
The Twitter timeline is not all Aaron Nola if Alec Bohm doesn't get those insurance runs there, because if that's a 2-0 game and he's at 88 pitches going in, Rob might give him a little leeway. But you saw already in a 4-0 game, he had Hoffman warming up. So kudos to Bohm for allowing Nola to get lauded, online like he is today. So
2 hits, 2 RBIs for Bohm on the day with a 3.33 average and a 9.26 OPS. Stott again gets another RBI today. That's back-to-back games that he's been tremendous in helping them score. 3 walks for Stott. Those 2 really offensively were the ones. Bryson Stott and Alec Bohm were absolutely the heroes of the day to get the insurance runs, to help create even the first 2 runs, obviously. They directly had a hand in the scoring for the Phillies today and yesterday. So that's something I remember us talking about. Even though we talk about Bryce struggling a little bit, and he's not fully Bryce Harper yet, which is even more exciting. Trey's obviously out. Kyle's obviously dealing with a back soreness. That middle and even the bottom of the batting order has really been delivering. And that's been a big game changer for the Phillies, that you don't really cringe as much. Like, I remember there have been games, whether it's the pitching, because I'm going to include them in this too, actually, pitching or, at bats, where there are certain guys and you're like cringing a little bit. You're waiting for, oh gosh, can we just get back to Bryce? Can we just get back to Kyle? And not now. It doesn't matter if it's a called up Cody Clemens, Sosa coming in, Yoro, Whit, Pache, or for the pitching side, excuse me.
Yeah, Pache was excellent over the weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. The bullpen's rounding out nicely. You don't cringe nearly as much. There's like one guy that we semi-cringe for, insert Anthony, and depending on the situation,
and
Soto. But it's not bad at all
lately.
either. No, so even the ones that we've been nervous about.
Real quick, one more LOL Mets before we get out of here, because I always enjoy the hashtag LOL Mets. Adrian Hauser, and the reason why the starting pitcher may be listed as TBD, less than 24 hours away from the game. Adrian Hauser, according to Anthony DiCuomo, who covers the Mets up there for SNY TV, got hot in the bullpen today. So he will no longer start tomorrow's game tomorrow night in Philadelphia.
Grow up.
He got hot, as in like overheated, or hot as in angry? Like I don't.
No, hot as in warm.
Got his
like
arm
ready
warm.
to pitch.
Like his arm was hot.
Oh wow!
So
even
he's not,
worse.
So he's not going to start tomorrow night. Why they had him do that, I'm not really sure. But hashtag LOL Mets.
Wow. Okay.
Tyler, any idea why they did that?
No, I'm not 100% certain as to why they. I mean, unless
were they going to situationally use him.
I guess possibly. But my question is, you got warm. Okay, grow up.
Yeah, like
you threw some bullpen pitches. You get on the mound and start. I am fully committed to innings limits and keeping your arms fresh. And other than with the exception of, like, we've talked about piggybacking. I don't like that particularly. But I am fully committed to keeping these guys fresh and giving them longevity. Get on the mound.
He's in the dark.
Grow up. What are you doing?
Yeah, I guess when you have a 7.63 ERA with a 1.83 WHIP, you got to be real picky about the days you.
I threw some warm-up pitches.
Man. You know that song? Be a man. Do you know that song?
I'm 40. I'm a man.
Tyler knows that song. Be a man. You got the 4 cigarette.
You're so close to actually singing words. You're so close.
Great Thai food. Be a man.
I have no clue what you're talking
mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Jamie, it's from Mulan.
Dun, dun,
Mulan?
dun.
Yes.
Oh,
that's one of the Pixars
that's been a
I haven't
favorite
really
in my
gotten
family.
Into. Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's a great song. But
Anything
the thing
Disney and
is,
Pixar's
you have
great.
here's another LOL
Adrian
Mets.
Hauser, you dumbass.
Another LOL Mets because you had a Jose. I know you want to say Butto, so go ahead and
Budo? I'm a mature
Budo,
professional.
Who came into today with a career ERA against the Phillies of an 8.36 ERA in his 3 starts against the Phillies. The last thing I want to share as we get ready to wrap up, and I know, Tyler, you had a note on the hitting. I don't know if you want to hit on. He hasn't been able to pitch more than 100 pitches at all. His high has been 95 pitches. He was at 48 pitches in the 3rd, and yes, Jose Budo finished with 97 pitches, a new high for him this season at 56 strikes. And also, we did see him, of course, have a very, very abysmal 3rd inning that led to 2 runs scored off of just 1 hit on the inning, off of Bohm's hit that Budo hit him with, as well as walking 3 guys, and got pulled after 5. So Budo, who came into today, not great against the Phillies. Also was not great against the Phillies today. Did have a 3.08 ERA on the day, but crumbled in a big moment.
More
and
like
thank you.
Butto.
Thank you.
Yeah. Imagine, like, put that, like, Butto aside. Put that scenario that the Mets are going through tomorrow in terms of the Phillies. Imagine if today Ranger Suarez had been put into the bullpen and got hot, and then after the game, Rob Thompson was like, hey, by the way, he got hot in the bullpen today, so can't start tomorrow.
So here's my thing, and clearly what I'm reading on Twitter from Mets fans and writers who are going nuts right now, he was the only guy left available. So
okay,
my gosh.
You're down 4-0 now.
So what do you think he throws to get hot? 30 pitches?
It's probably less than that, I would think.
20 to 25.
So he warmed up twice.
Oh, that's the big no-no.
So I guess the up down thing is what's going to cause
hot cold. I thought hot cold was good for muscles.
So they moved Hauser to the bullpen a couple of weeks ago. He was a starter, got moved to the bullpen, and he was going to re-enter the rotation tomorrow as a starter.
That's even funnier. I don't know why.
Maybe I'm a little harsh on this guy when in fact it's probably more along the lines of Carlos Mendoza. You're an idiot.
That's
whoever this is on, whether it's like a grow up thing or the manager's an idiot. Like, this is just malpractice.
Man, and who is that? Buckets Getter 215. I think it all the time because I have 2 really good friends that are diehard Mets fans, and they know the pain and embarrassment of their organization. It's got to really suck to be a Mets fan. It really does.
Yeah.
They are just organizationally not serious.
Yikes.
So it's always good to end on a laugh at the Mets note, you know? It's just fun.
It's bad. It's some really bad yeah, a lot going on. I know everybody in the chat just completely continue to just pile it on Citi Field and the Mets and what it's like to be a Mets fan. No bueno, not good at all. But yes, tomorrow we do get to see Ranger Suarez get the start. It'll be great to be back at Citizens Bank Park where fans do not fall asleep and there are actually butts in seats, and it's going to be an exciting chance to continue to pummel and beat up on the Mets
Phillies
with that 6:40 start. So we will be actually back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. for our usual live show.
And
you guys can
special
tune in.
guest at 11:30.
Let them know who our special. Are we going to surprise them? Should we tell them?
Yeah.
All right, let them know.
Yeah. We're going to talk with a local guy, Tyler Kepner, who does a great job covering Major League Baseball for the Athletic. So excited to talk to Tyler Kepner at 11:30 tomorrow. I believe we'll talk to Jim on Thursday, and then John will be back with us on Friday. So,
and I have to listen to what the people are saying. I have to listen. I've had a few different people asking.
Don't encourage her.
But that's like the third person that's asked in the chat about how our teams are doing. Guys, how are your teams doing?
Better than Bo Wolf's.
I won't talk about it because
Don't encourage her, K-Red.
My team, I can't tell you guys. I'm not allowed to.
No.
So
restart that counter?
No, that doesn't count. I was just answering the question in the chat about my fantasy team. Oh, there's another one. Guys, you're killing me, Smalls.
Mm-hmm.
Good news, though, as we now had a chance to watch the Phillies beat up on the Mets and win 4-0, you do get a chance to now enjoy the WNBA tip-off today. We've got the first game of action, the Liberty and the Mystics going head-to-head. Then the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark makes her regular season debut against the Connecticut Sun at 7:30. And then a nice 10 p.m. game, the two-time defending champs in the Las Vegas Aces go up against the Phoenix Mercury. So exciting times. And then, of course, also, one more, my bad. The Minnesota Lynx versus Skylar Diggins-Smith, who is amazing. And she's beautiful, and the Seattle Storm. So now you get a chance to switch over into watching some WNBA action, NBA games tonight because the Phillies took care of business, and so did we. That'll do it for us here on PHLY Phillies Podcast. Another victory post-game show for you. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m., bright and early. We've got guests joining us. We've got a lot of great things in store for you here. And so for Tyler, Jamie, our buddy John, and myself, Renee, so long, and let's go with my fantasy team.
Y'all silly.